Hi everyone, welcome to music. We are continuing to learn about music of the 21st century, and today we'll talk about the trends and entertainment of the early 2000s. Now, just like in previous decades, there was lots of different fashion trends, but for now we'll just focus on the 2000s trends that related to different musical styles. And we'll start off with hip hop. Many rappers influenced fashion by designing their own clothing lines. Jay-Z and Diddy, who you see in the picture, Nelly and 50 Cent all created their own hip hop fashion. Looks included baggy jeans, tall t shirts, sports jerseys, and puffer vests, paired with Timberland boots, which you see, or Adidas sneakers. Emo fashion was popular in the mid 2000s, and emo is just a subgenre of rock music characterized by emotional lyrics. And the emo style reflected goth and punk styles. Outfits were often all or mostly black, with skinny jeans, band t shirts, and checkered Vans shoes. No emo outfit was complete without the right hairstyle. The most common styles were choppy cuts, with long side swept bangs dyed black, platinum blonde, or a bright color. So you can see the emo hairstyle there in the middle. That band is called My Chemical Romance, and they're actually from Newark, New Jersey. And finally, scene styles became popular at the end of the decade and were influenced by indie, rave, and punk fashion. This look often included skinny jeans, bright t-shirts and hoodies, band shirts, tutus, and studded belts. And the singer and guitar player you see there is Avril Lavigne. She was very popular in the 2000s. Most of the entertainment of the early 2000s was centered on electronics and digital media. Video games were very popular, and there were many different systems available. We just learned that the Nintendo Wii had come out in this decade, and there was also PlayStation, Sega, and Xbox, and Game Boy, so there were lots of different choices for video games. Also in this decade, Netflix began its streaming service. Before 2007, they only offered movies on DVD. Speaking of movies, advances in technology allowed movies to use better special effects. Major movie franchises of the early 2000s were Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, the Dark Knight trilogy, and the Harry Potter movies. All of these movies were very visually impressive, with magic and flying, epic battle scenes, and pirate ghosts. All of these movies had incredible soundtracks too. We always got to talk about the music. Howard Shore wrote the music for Lord of the Rings, which is considered to be one of the best scores of all time. Pirates of the Caribbean and the Dark Knight trilogy were composed by Hans Zimmer, and the first three Harry Potter movies were written by my favorite, John Williams. Finally, the top movie of the decade, and still number one of all time, is Avatar. This movie used cutting-edge technology and computer animation to create the beautiful world of Pandora, and it had the same director and composer as the movie Titanic from the 90s. James Cameron directed, and James Horner wrote the music. Okay, let's listen to some music of the 2000s. On the next slide, you will see some popular songs from the early 2000s. For this decade, we will listen to the biggest hits on the Billboard charts. Every song on the playlist was in the top 40 for the entire decade, and you'll see the numbers next to each video tells you where it was on the chart. You might notice as you listen to some songs and look through the playlist that most of the popular songs from this decade are contemporary R&B songs, but other styles also make the list. So, choose your song and listen for the genre of that song. Another trend of 2000s music was collaborations. Many singers featured other artists on their songs and albums. So, try to identify whether the song you choose has just one performer or also has a featured artist. And here's a little hint on the label of the video. If you see the letters FT, that means featuring. We saw a little example of this in the 90s. We saw a song by Mariah Carey featuring Boyz II Men. So keep an eye out for that when you listen to your song. When you're done listening, go on to the next slides and answer your questions, and then choose one more song from the playlist just for fun.